These days, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that our financial system is dead and dying, at least with respect to the U.S. dollar and everything that it's been built around it, the way it stands today. But it also doesn't take a genius to figure out that things are changing quickly. We've got these stable coins now that are supposed to be equal to a dollar and being used as currency. And they're allowing even private companies to create these things so long as they're backed one-to-one to the US dollar per the Stablecoin Act, right? The Genius Act that just came out. And now we're waiting or awaiting a Clarity Act, I think sometime in October, November, maybe even December. But once that passes, it's game on for crypto. But the clues are everywhere that the financial system is changing. There's no doubt about it. It has to change. And the one thing everybody looks to quickly, because it's obvious, is the national debt. I mean, we're barely paying interest on it, and they're still looking to spend more and more because federal budgets always increase, right? If you talk to anybody who works for the federal government or any government agency, even if it's state or local, they always encourage people within the agencies to spend their whole budget so that they can get the automatic 5, 10, 15% increases year over year. If you don't use it, you lose it, is the thinking. So they're encouraged to frivolously spend and keep expanding those budgets and keep throwing that burden on citizens. Now, if you do not increase those budgets year over year, they call it budget reduction. It's not reduction, it's just keeping the budget the same because there's plenty of space to cut. They just like to scream and bitch and moan that, oh my God, there's no room in the budget. There is tons of room in the budget. And I think President Trump has just proved that with all the federal agencies that he's cut down and made them more efficiently. In the private sector, Elon Musk proved that with Twitter. But he cut 80% of the staff, and that particular platform works better than it ever did. So with respect to the global economy, or at least the national economy, which is inextricably connected to the global economy, these are some of the things that we need to look at. And Paul Barron's on fire with it. He reports breaking: French government collapses. Prime Minister Francois Bayrou ousted in devastating 364 to 194 confidence vote or no confidence vote. Fourth PM to fail in just 20 months. Wow, that's a lot. 44 billion austerity package rejected. Macron faces impeachment calls from left and the right. Massive protest plan for September 10th. Block everything. France's debt is 114% of their GDP. Worst crisis since 1958. Top assets held by the French. XRP BTC. I expect a surge of 70% in digital assets in the next 30 days. Liberté, égalité, fraternité. Digital assets will boom. And they will. Also, he says the math doesn't lie. Social Security, Medicare, VA, 22% of tax revenue in 1971. 62% of revenue today. U.S. debt service at 5% rates equal 36% of tax revenue. At 7% rates equals 53 of tax revenue. Translation: we're running out of fiscal runway fast, which means there's just not a lot of money to go around. If you're 40 to 60 years old, I fall into that group. You're paying for benefits you may never receive at current levels. The government's only options are to raise taxes dramatically, cut benefits, print money out of thin air, as they have always done. None of those options are politically palatable, and they all hurt the middle class savers, which is, again, I fall into that group. This is why digital assets are not speculation. It's insurance against policy failure. And then, of course, it goes on to list those digital assets there. Paul Barron's on fire with this. And so these clues are everywhere. Another place you need to look at is our own government when they speak out. Globally, we have countries like France spending too much. Here at home, we have all the problems that Paul Barron just listed. But over here, the OCC announced the actions to eliminate politicized or unlawful debanking in the federal banking system. So this is part of that financial system changing, right? Because of all these pressure points, all these problems here and abroad. Now he says the OCC is taking steps to end the weaponization of the financial system. We are working to root out bank activities that unlawfully debank or discriminate against customers on the basis of political or religious beliefs or lawful business activities. If and when the OCC identifies such activity, it will take action to end it. And something that I can tell you is I'm a conservative. I've always been one. Since Reagan to now, I've been very consistent with this. I made one mistake in voting for Clinton one time, and man, I reversed course the very next time as soon as I saw they wanted to change health care in the 90s. And the reason I did that was I was fed up with Bush 1 because he said no new taxes. Then he went on to do that. He turned his back on all the Reagan policies, and then he pretty much snubbed Reagan. And I didn't appreciate that much because he wouldn't have been president were it not for Reagan in the first place. So I had my reasons for that, but nonetheless, politically speaking, with respect to banks, a lot of people have been debanked, and I think even like with GoFundMe, right? If you're a conservative and you get a GoFundMe and they don't agree with your political stance, they cut off your GoFundMe. But if you're a liberal, they're always funding those GoFundMes, right? All of a sudden, I mean, look at what happened to the Charlotte, North Carolina issue right now with the young lady that was murdered on that train. The perpetrator set up a GoFundMe right away, and people actually started donating to that thing. In Dallas, here in Texas, there was a young black man or kid, I guess he was in high school. He killed one of his I don't know if they went to the same school or not, but I think it was at a track meet or something. He kills this other young man. He sets up a GoFundMe and gets all this money. Now, luckily, President Trump's in office, and there was a little parody there. And so the young man that was killed, his family also set up, I don't think it was a GoFundMe. I think it was some other platform, because the GoFundMe page is too tilted to the left. And that has to do with banking, access to these monies. And you can't have that. You cannot have that in the banking situation. And so one of the major things that I can point to is the Trump boys. They're businessmen, right? They run the Trump organization, especially while President Trump was president in his first term. And they've spoken loudly about how quickly they were debanked just because they happen to be the sons of the current president. And those banks are controlled by a lot of left-wing supporters. And so all of a sudden they would just debank you, and it's hard to operate in the free world that way. You cannot have that. You cannot have banks and the financial system playing favorites. So now you're watching them go heavily into digital assets, and you have a pro-crypto president in President Trump's second term. So there's a huge impetus for a lot of things to change, and a lot of reasons for the change in the financial system, whether it's debt, political bias, and other things, right? It's just not sustainable the way it is now, that we've got a debased dollar, and things around the world are not any better. They're bad here, they're worse in other parts of the world. Some parts of the world are okay, I suppose, but remember, everything works off or is based off the dollar. So just to give you an idea, it's not just me saying it, I'm showing you some things that are occurring here. But let's hear it from one of the Trump boys, Eric Trump. It's happening for a reason, guys. And I hope you're watching this, because this is why in crypto, this is what I saw years back, because I already knew we were headed this way. There's no way. So, since the 80s, everybody's talking about, oh, we got to reduce the debt. It's never gone down since the 80s. And before that, I'm sure, but I didn't start paying attention until the 80s. So they're all full of it, all of them. And it's time, man. You know what? It's over, and something new's coming. And this is the only thing that I see that builds and transfers value. So it's just obvious, right? Let's hear from Eric Trump. Just to set it up for you, he says what he means is that Ripple and XRP are poised to rewrite the history of finance. And Paul Barron is right. Paul Barron's on fire with all these posts. It says, just in, Eric Trump says the modern financial system is changing and crypto is rewriting the rules. Oh yeah, but I think Paul Barron is a little more accurate there. It's gonna rewrite the history of finance. So let's hear it from him. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time, adios, amigos.
The modern financial system is changing every single day, and crypto is rewriting the rules.
Yeah, no, it certainly it is something that we've